Hey everybody, this is Patrick Sukup with Sukup Real Estate Services in Fort Collins, Colorado, coming at you with another biweekly analysis looking at the Fort Collins detached residential real estate market. So I really want to dive into interest rates today because I think the power of what's going on with those cannot be overstated at this point. But jumping into the biweekly analysis, really what I want to focus on this week is homes that have sold, days on market, inventory, and interest rates. Ultimately, we had 114 homes that have sold in the last 2 weeks, which is the most since July of 2019. We had a month delay because of COVID-19. So it makes sense that the most homes that have sold were in August compared to July of last year. But it was nice to see that we eclipsed that 100 homes sold mark. 48 days on market, really that's still an extremely strong number. It means that homes are about sitting on the market for about 10 to 15 days before going under contract and selling. Really, that's pretty phenomenal. If we see that jump to 60 and 70, it might mean that demand's softening a little bit, but I just don't foresee that happening anytime in the near future. Again, what I really want to dive in onto today is interest rates that have dropped another 10% since our last biweekly analysis. But before we do that, I wanted to jump into, again, what inventory is looking like, because ultimately real estate is driven by supply and demand. Ultimately, we still have an extremely high demand. For every home that's coming onto the market, a home is selling. We've never, in the last 2 years, seen homes exceed 300 homes on the market, which are in these parameters, which is homes between 0.1 acres and 3 acres, not new build, not condos, townhomes, attached mobile homes, or manufactured homes. So take that into account when I'm talking about supply and demand. Ultimately, we're about a month to 2 months, really a month to a month and a half of inventory, right around 200 homes. If we start to pop up, really we can go up to about 600 homes and be a balanced market. But for us here in Fort Collins, we just aren't used to that. So I would say we'd start being a little bit concerned if we start popping up to 300 to 350. At that point, there would probably be a little bit room to pause. But today, what I really wanted to jump into was the power of interest rates. So I'm seeing anything from 2.6 to 2.75, which, you always want to look at your APR, look at what your lender's offering you, closing cost fees, because that really ties in. APR ties in what all those costs are over the life of the loan. So focus more on APR than you are on interest rate, but still, regardless, interest rates between 2.6 and 2.75%. I want to take and look at an example of the power of potentially buying right now versus renting. I'm a landlord, would love for you to continue to rent, but I'm also an extremely big advocate of homeownership as a great way to build wealth and stability financially long-term. So jumping into a house that's on the market for rent in Meadowlark, which I own a rental in this neighborhood, this subdivision. I've got it rented for about $22.50 a month. It's a little bit bigger than this home, but this home in Meadowlark is renting for $2,195. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,700 square feet. If you were to buy and put 5% down in this same neighborhood, let's just see what type of home you could, purchase price you could have. So, I'm a realtor. I use, excuse me. I know you guys aren't seeing what I'm doing right now. So let me do this real fast. I'm a realtor here in town, but I do believe that in certain subdivisions, the Zillow's estimate is pretty spot on, pretty accurate. So, or at least close. These homes in Meadowlark are selling between $300 to $420 or $380 to $420,000. So, for my analysis, what I did was looked at a home that would sell for $400,000, and if you were to put 5% down, here's what your principal and interest would look like. So if you put 5% down on a $400,000 house and at 2.75% interest rates, you could be looking at $1,500 a month in principal and interest. Alrighty, $1,550. Looking at that same exact home of what the property tax would be, for that home, in Meadowlark. So you're at $1,550 for your principal and interest. You're going to have to also escrow property taxes and insurance. Your property tax on that property is going to be about $2,324, or about $200 a month. And the last portion of what your mortgage payment consists of is insurance. You could probably be anywhere between $150 or $100 to $200. So for our purposes, let's go ahead and assume $150. Putting everything together, $1,500 for a $400,000 house that you put 5% down on in principal and interest, plus $200 a month in property taxes, plus let's just say $150 on insurance. That's $1,900 a month to own that home in Meadowlark, comparatively to what you'd be doing renting that same home for almost $2,200. So you could be saving $300 by buying that home in Meadowlark. It's truly the power of interest rates. Again, you know, I spoke with a lender. He said this is the busiest time that he's seen in lending right now between refinances and new purchases. And that's considering the 2015, 16, and 17 market that was just bananas. People would walk into homes. There would be multiple offers within the first hour or two of the home hitting the market. Interest rates weren't that spectacular. So if they were where we are at now, I just don't even know what that market would have done. It probably would have just imploded just based off of the demand. People would be buying houses, scraping them up as quick as they came onto the market. But that's kind of where we are right now, is the demand. Every single house that comes onto the market is selling, and it's a great time to buy. Honestly, that being said, it's a great time to buy if you have a job that you feel confident in that will be there for the next 3 to 5 years, that you don't plan to move from Fort Collins, because ultimately you're going to have some costs going into the house that aren't just the down payment. You're going to have closing costs, title, lending fees that you want to recoup over those 3 to 5 years. So looking at your circumstances, depending on what you're doing right now, could be a great time to buy. So really consider that. My name is Patrick Stugo. I'm with Stugo Real Estate Services. I've really enjoyed making these videos. I hope they provide some type of value to you. I know they're specific to Northern Colorado, but generally speaking, look at your market, see what it's doing. People are really vacating these big metros for more suburban type towns. Fort Collins has done an amazing job as far as the way we are handling the COVID cases were pretty low. Our social issues we're handling generally in a pretty healthy fashion. And that's to be said there. Both of those things are extremely important. I don't think they need to be pushed aside, but hopefully we can sort those things out and address important items and issues, do better as people, and ultimately, hopefully, this economy can turn around. Commercial businesses that I'm sitting around right now can do better. People are comfortable spending their money, and we come out of this on the other side stronger and closer as a people, not more divided. That's the optimist in me coming out. But my name again is Patrick Stugo with Stugo Real Estate Services here in Northern Colorado. I'd love to be of assistance anyway, answer any of your questions down below. Reach out to me specifically, DM me with anything, and I'd love to discuss Fort Collins real estate with you. Hope all is well. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.